SBR Videos is sponsored by Sports Cash System. Click on the link below for more information. Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing Week 10 in the NFL, and right now we're talking with Stephen O from EventDataServices.com, a very well-respected NFL modeler who's having a very good year at his website. Not so great in his free picks with us, though, but hopefully we're going to change that. Stephen O, thanks for being back with us this week.
And thanks for having me. And I'm going to go with one of my stronger picks to try to get back on the winning side.
No, I mean, the issue is all of your top picks you have to give to your paying customers, and you have to give us like the best of the non-top picks, right?
Yeah, but you know what? I shouldn't put my name out there if I wasn't going to back it up. So I'm going to try to give out some of the picks I like the most.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a tough thing. I mean, you are putting your name out there with picks that you do back, but not back enough to like give only exclusively to your paying customers. So it's a tough situation. I understand. All right,
yeah, but I still think I've been wrong for the right reasons.
Right,
in some
right.
of these picks, especially in New England. Hey, I didn't see them scoring 50, 55, whatever. Not the previous few weeks, but.
No, I mean, and also, obviously, we're talking about a tiny sample size here with tight NFL lines. So obviously, there's a lot more that goes into proving yourself than just the actual wins and losses. But still,
I appreciate the support.
Yeah, for sure. No, I trust you completely. This game, though, I think maybe we got an edge. So tell me if you agree with my analysis of it, right? Seattle at Atlanta. Atlanta's a 6-point home underdog. Total's 44.5 or 45. And Seattle having a lot of problems. In some issues, in some areas, they're having like major issues with injuries, but in other areas, their offensive line is improving. Their defense is not that bad. Some positive signs with their defense, and Seattle looks like they're kind of like stumbling towards their bye. We saw what happened last week. They were lucky to get away with the win, but didn't come close to getting the cover. Should they really be a 6-point road favorite here against Atlanta? I'm not convinced. I think Atlanta +6 might be a great bet. What do you think, Stephen?
Well, I'm disagreeing with you. I actually like Seattle in this game. And,
okay.
Just straight numbers. Look at the odds. 6-point favorite with a over-under around 44.5, 45. They're projecting Seattle for around 25 points and Atlanta for 19, roughly. And in our simulations, we have Seattle at exactly 25 as well. I mean, Atlanta's defense, it just has not been very good this year. And, Seattle, I know offensively can struggle at times. But this is still a team that is fully capable of scoring 25 on the road. But the Falcons' offense, obviously has struggled mightily last few weeks against quality defenses. And without Julio Jones, the team is really kind of at a loss. I know Roddy White might be back this week, but as he's shown at the beginning of the year, when he's less than 100%, that he will be, even if he does play. I just don't like the matchup. Seattle leads the league in interceptions to the defense, and Matt Ryan, who I thought was a really, I bet on because of his ability to control interceptions, has cost me a couple picks the last few weeks with 7 INTs the last 2 weeks. So I see that as a bad matchup. I never thought Steven Jackson was going to be that great of a boost in the running game, despite what people thought in the offseason. In our analysis on short yardage situations, where there's a likely running down, third, fourth down with 1 or 2 yards to go, he actually wasn't more effective than Michael Turner last year. So I see Seattle holding Atlanta to 17 or less. And so, a 7-point win sounds like the likely scenario here.
Yeah, no, Matt Ryan had a bad game last game, and it looked like he was just having like mental issues. It wasn't so much physically. The one good thing that we can take from it, though, is that, Carolina has an awesome, front seven pass rush, and Ryan actually had a decent amount of time. The offensive line actually gave him some pretty decent protection. And doesn't Seattle have like a ton of injuries on the offensive line? Like they're super banged up there?
Yes, they do, but they have, Okung was out from week 2, and that's where Russell Wilson's ability to move and his ability to scramble, it comes into play. And Atlanta, they have O.C. Umenyiora and some, other upgrades, but overall their defense, doesn't scare anyone. I saw Mike Glennon, move the ball pretty well against them in Atlanta. And the Falcons, it's the biggest issue is the Falcons offensively. I know they scored 30, I believe they scored 30 against Tampa Bay at home, but 7 of that was on a fumble recovery for a touchdown. So, they haven't been scoring more than in the low 20s. And Seattle, they allow 18.5 points per game on the road. Home teams this year in the NFL are averaging close to 25 this year. So, Seattle is holding the opposition on the road to almost a full touchdown less than most teams score. So if I look at an Atlanta team that's averaging only around 22 or 23 this year. And just simple math, knock them down 6 or 7 points. You got them around 17.
All right, I trust you, Stephen O. Just before we let you go, then what's your take on what happened last week with Seattle, almost losing to Tampa Bay, and why do you think things will be different this week?
Well, because 75% of the game went exactly as you would expect. That's maybe the best part heading into this game. As you mentioned it, Seattle might be just sort of limping to the bye, but the wake-up call last week saying that if they don't, if they're slow to start any game, even at home, they didn't give Tampa Bay a chance, and so they quickly fell behind 21-0. But for 75% of that game, the last 3 quarters, it was 27-3. So that's the real Seattle, and maybe the last 2 weeks, they're struggling offensively against the Rams, and then falling behind early to lousy team like Tampa Bay. Maybe that's what they need to say. Look, we're only a game up on San Francisco. We could easily lose that key home field advantage if we don't come out sharp. So maybe that's the best thing that could happen to Seattle this week is their close call last week.
Right, I hear you. And playing the opposite, having an opposite result of what happened the week before is par for the course in the NFL. Stephen O. liking Seattle -6 to bounce back with a convincing win over Atlanta. Thanks, Stephen. Talk to you again next week.
Thanks a lot, Peter.